I was 16 that summer, fast, focused, and training hard for the state track championships. Running had become more than a sport for me. It was a way to clear my head, especially after my dad left, and the house grew too quiet. That's when I picked up a side job. Nothing too official, just something people in our small town trusted me with. A woman named Karen had a golden retriever named Izzy, hyperactive, full of energy, and completely out of control unless she ran a couple of miles a day. Karen offered to pay me to take her dog on runs. I figured, why not? It gave me extra cardio and some cash. Most days I ran on the main trail behind our neighborhood, but on cooler mornings, I'd take the longer loop through the Blackwell Trail, a narrower, forested path that wound through the woods east of town. Quiet, peaceful, untouched. That morning, the mist still hung low between the trees. The air was cool and damp, Izzy tugging at the leash like she always did. We'd barely made it a mile in when something changed. She stopped. Completely. Izzy never stopped. She turned her head sharply toward the tree line. Ears up, body frozen. I followed her gaze. There, standing half concealed behind the trees, was a man. At first I thought he was just a hiker, but something about him was off. He didn't move, not even to blink. His face was pale, stretched, and his eyes seemed too wide, empty almost. He didn't look at me so much as through me. I felt a chill crawl across my back. "Come on," I muttered, tugging Izzy forward. We ran. I tried to shake the image from my mind, focusing on my pace, my breath, the beat of my feet against the dirt trail. But about 2 minutes later, he was there again. Not in the trees this time, on the path, standing, blocking the trail ahead. Same expression, same pale face, same silence. Then he moved, not like a person, more like a puppet on broken strings. His arms flailed unnaturally as he started sprinting toward me, fast, erratic, a butcher's cleaver gripped in one hand. I didn't think. I ran. Izzy barked once and took off beside me. My legs moved faster than they ever had. The only sound I heard was my own breathing and the pounding of my heart. Behind me, nothing. No footsteps, no breath, just silence. But I knew he was there. I didn't look back. We broke through the woods and hit the edge of town, past the old water tower, onto paved streets where cars finally came into view. Only then did I stop. I ducked behind a dumpster behind the hardware store, gasping, heart racing, sweat pouring off me. He was gone, vanished. But even now, weeks later, I still see his face when I close my eyes. The way he moved, that horrible, breathless silence that followed him. And the worst part? I know I didn't imagine it, because I've never taken that trail again, and I never will. The next few days passed in a strange daze. I couldn't concentrate at school. I kept messing up my warm-ups during track practice. My coach pulled me aside and asked if everything was okay. I lied and said I was just tired, but it wasn't just fatigue. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that face, pale, frozen, watching me. And the way he ran, off balance, chaotic, but fast, unnaturally fast. I could still feel the silence around him. It wasn't just quiet, it was wrong. Like sound itself didn't exist in his presence. I stopped running Blackwell Trail completely. I avoided that entire side of town. But the nightmares came anyway. In them, I was always running, faster than I thought I could, but I never got away. One morning, about a week after it happened, I noticed something weird. Izzy didn't want to go out. I came by Karen's place as usual, but the moment I picked up the leash, she whined and backed into the living room. Karen looked surprised. "That's new," she said. "She usually can't wait to get out the door." "Maybe she's tired," I mumbled, trying not to think about what we'd seen, or who. We stayed close to town that day, just circling the blocks. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching us. Every time we passed a side street or alley, my eyes darted around. I didn't see anything, but I could feel it. That night, it got worse. Around 2 a.m., I woke up gasping. My room was freezing cold even though it was the middle of summer. I sat up, drenched in sweat, and that's when I heard it, scratching, outside my window. I live on the second floor. I froze. The sound stopped. I told myself it was just a tree branch, even though there aren't any trees close enough to reach my window. The next morning, I found 3 faint smudges on the glass, like finger marks, long and uneven. Still, I tried to move on. Maybe I was just rattled. Maybe the guy in the woods was a drugged-out drifter, or some creep messing with people. But deep down, I knew better. He hadn't just been watching. He'd been waiting. And whatever he wasn't done with me. A few days later, I was leaving school when I ran into someone unexpected. Mr. Porter, the old history teacher. He'd retired the year before. Bit of a town historian, known for collecting old newspaper clippings and ghost stories. He said, "I heard from Karen you've been having trouble since that morning run." I stopped in my tracks. "How do you know about that?" "She mentioned Izzy hasn't been herself, and I've heard things before about that trail. Things people like to forget." He handed me a folded newspaper clipping, yellowed with age. The headline read, "Local boy vanishes on Blackwell Trail, 1963. The article talked about a 16-year-old named Elias who went missing during a solo morning run. Witnesses claimed they saw someone chasing him, but no one was ever caught. The body was never found. Porter looked me straight in the eye. "There's something that walks those woods, son. Something that doesn't breathe." My blood went cold. "I saw him," I whispered. "He chased me. With a cleaver." Porter nodded slowly. "Then you're lucky you made it back." I didn't say much else. I took the clipping and walked home with shaky legs. That night I taped it to the wall by my desk. But I didn't sleep, because around 3 a.m. I woke up to the sound of Izzy howling in the distance. And when I turned toward my window, he was there, standing outside the glass, silent, motionless, watching. He was standing outside my window, his head tilted down, face pale as bone, and still, he wasn't breathing. I tried to look away, but my body wouldn't move. My eyes felt glued to the glass, like they were trapped there with him. Izzy was curled up in the corner of my room. She didn't bark. She didn't growl. She just whimpered, low and broken, then shoved her head under my blanket. And for some reason, I didn't scream. I didn't run. Instead, I slowly pulled the blanket up to my chin and prayed my heart would quiet down. My fingers were freezing. I stared at him until my vision blurred, until I couldn't see his face anymore. Just a fog on the window. By morning, he was gone. No footprints, no handprints. Just that strange cold stillness in the air. But the next day, everything changed. Mr. Porter came by again, early. He was clutching another newspaper clipping and looked more anxious than I'd ever seen him. "I've done everything I can," he said quickly. "There might be a way to stop it, but it won't be easy." The article was another old one, this time an interview from 1963. A man who claimed to have seen the breathless runner told his story. His words were strange, old-fashioned, but the meaning was clear. The thing doesn't stop running. The only way to stop it is to run with it, in silence. If you breathe, it notices. If it hears you, it won't let go. "That's insane," I said. Porter locked eyes with me. "Did you look into its eyes?" "Yes." And in that moment, I knew he was telling the truth. That night, I went back to Blackwell Trail. Not alone this time. Porter gave me 2 old gas lanterns. He said electronic devices stop working when the thing is near. I laughed at first, but then remembered how my phone's GPS glitched out that morning in the woods. I reached the trailhead just before midnight. The forest was silent, not peaceful, empty. No birds, no insects, just me, the path, and the crunch of my shoes on the gravel. I stepped onto the trail. After a few minutes, I heard something. A twig snapped. I turned. There he was. Same face, same dead stare, same blood-stained cleaver. And then he started running. So did I. But this time I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even breathe. I ran in absolute silence. At first it was easy. Then the burn in my lungs kicked in. My throat ached. My chest felt like it was going to explode. But I didn't make a sound. I didn't dare. He was right behind me. I could feel it, like a shadow at my heels. I saw his arms flailing in my peripheral vision, his legs moving in that unnatural broken rhythm. I ran harder. Then something shifted. The silence changed. I heard him, gasping. A deep, wheezing inhale, like it was his first breath in 100 years. I stopped, turned. He wasn't there. Only trees. And something else. Just off the path, half buried under moss and roots, was a gravestone. Faded, cracked, forgotten. Elias Grant, 1901 to 1923. Died running, found peace in silence. Everything suddenly made sense. He'd been a runner. Died young. No one knew where his body was buried. Maybe he didn't either. So he kept running, chasing anyone who looked like him, until someone did what he couldn't. Finished the run, without a sound. No one's seen him since. I still run, but I never go back to Blackwell Trail. I stick to busy streets now, somewhere with people, with noise. But sometimes, early in the morning, when the world is quiet and the wind brushes through the trees just right, I swear I hear something moving behind me. Not footsteps, just the sound of someone finally breathing again. The end.